Water conservation facilities in 7.1.4 relate to the institution. What is present in the institution? We often talk about availability of water, but how do we conserve water? How do we gain water? Normally, institutions have a big size, they have a big construction, they have big surfaces. How best are these surfaces being used to conserve water? Our nation runs into droughts for more than 6 months. If we can have our own water storages, they may or may not be useful for drinking, but they can definitely be used in making the campus beautiful, in sufficing the water requirements. I know there are so many institutions in Maharashtra, especially in the areas of Marathwada and Vidarbha, where the colleges who have their hostels are forced to cut down the hostels and send the students home early, primarily because there is no water. And therefore, harvesting of water, management of water, good practices of water really count out. 7.1.4 talks about water conservation facilities available in the institution. They have specified whether there is a rain harvesting mechanism. Second, whether there are borewell or open well recharges that are being done. Third, whether any kind of construction of tanks and bunds is possible. Fourth, whether wastewater can be recycled out. And fifth, whether maintenance of water bodies and distribution system in the campus. These are the different aspects that they have made a mention. They expect at least 4 of them or 3 of them or to be present on the campus. I know there are campuses which are 100 acres, 200 acres. I also know there are campuses which can be as small as 1 acre campus. But in either of the cases, how is the organization trying to cope up with water is the real issue that they expect. It could be a bore well or an open recharge well that you are able to see. Or you should be able to calculate the amount of water that is collected. It reminds me of a college run by the Rayat Shikshan Sanstha in Satara. It's a women's college which is actually into the hill. Satara comes into a rain catchment area. It has lot of rains. And the college is actually situated on a part of the hill. The college has gone for excellent rain harvesting facilities. They have stored that water and the water is used on a very large scale and for a very large period of time by the organization. So here you are able to see they have calculated the amount of rainfall that is there. When we talk about the rainfall water that time, what is the mean rainfall of that area? What is the catchment area that we have for rainwater? What is the runoff coefficient that can be calculated? And what is the mean amount of water supply that you can calculate out? So these aspects help you to understand the amount of rainwater that has been harvested. In the same way, construction of tanks and bunds, or for that matter, converting the wastewater to clean water. There are mechanisms where you are able to see the sewage water or the grey water as we call it. This water is converted into utilizable water using some kind of machineries, and that has an efficiency rate of 90%, making things really very wonderful for the organization. We come to the next practice called as the green practices. Now, green practices on the campus. It could be a large number of practices. It could be as good as restricted entry of automobiles on the campus. It could be using bicycles and battery powered vehicles. it could be pedestrian friendly roads, it could be plastic friendly free campus, it could be minimum plastic, it could be a paperless office, it could be green landscaping with the local plants that you are able to see. How many green practices does the organization have is the list that they expect, and they also expect a good number of proofs that have come up. We come to the next aspect called as the audits. Whether college conducts audits. I am not talking about those audits, internal audits which college conducts with respect to the funds, money every year. I am talking about green audits, I am talking about energy audits, I am talking about, in other words, environmental audits. I am also talking about clean campuses awards, recognitions. Then you are able to see it could also be beyond the campus environmental promotion activities. For example, in the area we have our college, we have 4 squares around us. Our students stand on those squares, traffic squares, and they promote the students to use helmets. They promote the students to use masks. They promote the students to see to it that their health is safe. They promote the students to go for PUC checkups. Our college conducts free PUC checkups to see to it that the quality of the air is better, especially when we are talking about the two-wheelers. So such kind of quality audits, whether they are being done. We come to 7.1.7 where you are able to see it is about the Divyanga friendliness on the campus. Whether you have Divyanga students, whether you are advertising out that you have the facilities so that Divyanga students come to us. Very often students don't come to us because they do not know that you have the facilities. So you have to see to it that your website makes a mention of it. Then you have to see to it that the college tries to reach them, to see to it that they come to us. Now, what kind of resources are needed over there for a Divyanga friendliness? Physical facilities such as provision of lifts. Then you are able to see disabled friendly washrooms, signage friendly washrooms, tactile paths, display roads, so that they know where to go exactly. Signages play a very important role. We don't have them in most of the cases. Braille softwares in the libraries so that they can read the books, or for that matter a better contrast screens, especially if the student happens to be having a weak eyesight, that you are able to see. Restrooms for them, provisions for an inquiry and information centers. Then you are able to see Divyanga friendly website that really makes a big impact. Every website needs to be Divyanga friendly. Then you are able to see many such facilities are available. You need to list them. You need to see to it that they are in a working condition. Then we come to 7.1.8, which is inclusion and situatedness. That is the institutional initiatives in providing an inclusive environment, that is tolerance, harmony towards cultural, regional, linguistic, communal, socio-economic and other diversities. India is a diverse country. Whether we are practicing it, which is the best place to learn it out? The colleges. Every college has diverse environments. Every college has students coming from various communities, teachers coming from various communities. Many a times colleges are at the junction of different communities in the society. Now, how do we interact with this particular situation? How do we train our students to see to it that they become good at it? Finally, you are able to see, we come to 7.1.9, human values and professional ethics. Where do we sensitize our students and employees towards institution, to the constitutional obligations? This is to be written down in 500 words. What are the values that the organization is imbibing? What are the different kinds of activities that the organization conducts for these professional values to come into being?